Hey, good morning to you. Today we're going to talk about some we'll call them limiting beliefs, or like the invisible upper limits that we all happen to have that nobody realizes they have until they all of a sudden hit them. So no matter where you're at in the world, I'm sending you blessings from California. Hello, the Mohanty Yagi. The Mohan Yagi, good morning to you. But yeah, today we're talking about, man, we'll call them the limiting beliefs, the upper limits we have. Because here's the truth. Everybody has this invisible upper limits. There's a guy named Hendricks has a great book called Make the Leap, and he talks about some interesting things in the book, and it's real, but nobody sees it as being real. Good morning, Luke Chap. How you doing, man? Good morning, good morning. And he talks about this concept of, even people that are multi-millionaires, they have this invisible upper limit. And if you give yourself the permission for a moment to think about this might be a little bit of a game changer for you. So I hope you had an amazing Thanksgiving yesterday if you're from the States. If you're not, I hope you had an amazing Thursday or Friday, whatever day, time it is in your zone of the world. I'm sending you love for where I'm at right now. And we had a late night, but here's the thing. We had a late night. We got in. I didn't go to bed till like 12:45, and I still got out to hang with you because you mattered to me. And so I was having, I got a great sleep, and then I woke up and I got some cool messages. Good morning, Sonia D. Lucas. Had a message this morning. It was interesting. So here's the truth. There's a person that is in one of my coaching programs, and she has a great heart. And what she was talking about was, I've had some great accomplishments, some things I've done, major purchases she's made in situations that had to do with things that she never thought she'd actually accomplish, but she reached it. And then she said, along this journey, I'm still realizing I got a lot of upper limits, limiting beliefs that I'm not able to press past. I was like, man, here's my perspective. It is really crazy in our life. We accomplish things. You've accomplished something, but you've accomplished it with your hands behind your back. You've accomplished it with a limiter. You know what a limiter is? So limiter is like if you go to any kind of foreign country, you like rent jet skis or something, they put like a little screw behind the throttle so you can't press the throttle anymore. It limits the full expression of that engine so you can go fully quick, right? All that horsepower gets tucked aside. I do speak quickly. My apologies, sigh. I got passion for what I do. I've thought about talking slower, but then it doesn't seem to work as well. So I just don't do that. My apologies. I love you still. I hope we can kind of pick up the pace or I can kind of slow down. We'll figure it out. Here's the truth. There was this limiting aspect. Many mindful. I'm going to have you come on. Definitely many mindful moments. Give me a minute to get this thought. I would love to have you on because I love your comments. You're so heartfelt. I love it. So what happens is we live our lives with a limiter. We have this perspective where it's like we're going to create something and do something. We do accomplish some things, but we do with a limiter. And my question to you is, what if that thing was full bore? What if that engine was wide open? What if you lived in a space and a pace that was just every single bit of your soul out there without any kind of limiting beliefs slowing you down? And here's how they show up. I got a plan. I'm going to do this. I step into that moment to execute on that plan, and I may, and then we don't go full. And because we don't go full, we don't get that full amazing result. And it's difficult, man. I see a lot of people do this in life because there's a lot of things we worry about that we should never worry about. And can I tell you not to worry about it? No. Can I control your feelings? No. Can you control your feelings? No. The feelings just happen. But we have this life we're living, and you have a life you've lived till now. You've probably had some success. You feed yourself. You might have a vehicle. You probably got a job. You got some clothes. You got a phone. You can look at things. You've had some success. I'm not taking any of that from you. What I am saying, though, is what if it could have been greater? What if it could more? What if you could have gave an extra 5%, but got an extra 50%, right? What if you were able to put a little bit more and got a ton more outcome? What if there was that next tier for your life that's waiting right outside your time? I'm a man. I like to be as honest and transparent as possible. So I played in the NFL. And I had in the NFL, I was, in the top in the world for the sport that I play. I'm playing in the NFL, right? And while I was there was a time when I wanted to quit, a time when it got too hard. I'm not even kidding. I was 20 feet from quitting. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers my rookie year. I'd already called my coach, called my agent, called my wife, like, I'm out of here. I can't do this. It's too hard. I'm telling you this because this is real. Imagine getting to the highest level in the world, working your butt off, and then thinking you didn't belong. That's how I felt. It was incredibly difficult. It was scary. It was hard. Like, I mean, no one cared that I was there. I had a bunch of teammates that well, I wouldn't even call teammates. They were dudes trying to take my job while I'm trying to take their job, you know? Coaches every day just digging into you, telling you suck. They want to send you home because they got to know who got the medal, you know? In those moments, man, my limiting beliefs got the best of me. At the highest level in the world, I climbed to it. I got up there and said, I don't know if I belong here. I'm out, right? I was thinking this in my head. Thankfully, I got pulled away by a God-sent man who stopped in right at this weird moment and pulled me to the side, had a deep conversation, saved me. Here's a weird story. I'd had this necklace around my neck that had a picture of my son engraved on a dog tag. He was like 1 or 2 at the time, and he was engraved on my dog tag. And I remember I'd lost it at practice, and it wasn't thinking anything of it. And then when this guy pulled me aside, he asked me questions about my son. He's like, hey, what would your son think if you were to leave right now? What would you tell him in 10, 20, 30 years when he asks, Dad, how'd you leave the NFL? And you have to tell him you quit. Like it pressed upon me. So I was like, I'm going to dig in. I stayed, man. I stuck it out. My heart came back into it. He helped me remove some of those limiting beliefs I had. He's telling me about God put me in a certain position to be here right now. You don't walk away from something that's on a calling for your life. It shifted my perspective in that moment and got me back to right. Here's the crazy thing. I go back to practice the very next day, and hanging on my locker is the dog tag of my son's picture. Somebody who was part of like the yard facilities or the facilities around, they grabbed this dog tag. Someone knew was mine, put it on my locker. Had I left, I never would have got that dog tag. And when I got there, it was a very clear reminder of what I was supposed to be doing. God had said, hey, man, don't take off like your son needs you to be able to have that story that you went out when you went out, right? So it was this perspective of I want to get you to realize there are a ton of upper limits no matter where you are at in life. You could be at a high peak doing some great things. There's still some more to get to because I realized this. How much better could my career in the NFL have been had I not been playing just to get by? Seriously, how much better could my NFL career have been if I was playing at every ounce of what I had inside of me? Because there were times when I wasn't. That year I wasn't. And that how you start something, it takes off. You have trajectory changes, right? I went out on an injury. Like, thankfully, I buckled down. I got to work again. I beat one dude out with the Pittsburgh Steelers for a workout. It's a whole different story. That was a crazy story. But I tore my shoulder, man, and my career ended. But I saved my brain, and I got to be home, and I get to do this, and I love this so much more. You'd be surprised. I would, if I had a choice, I would do this. Money is and everything included. I love the fact that I could be home with my family, save my brain. I may not have this world stage and all that crazy money, but man, I got an upwelling of joy in my heart for what it is I get to do in this world and who I get to be with consistently. But I'm telling you, there's an upper limit past whatever you have got going on in your life. And that's what I wanted to think about. That's what I wanted to share with you today. There's going to be a thing you've accomplished, which is great no matter what you've accomplished. But there's some more if you can extract more and give that little extra gas, a little extra level of energy. And I want you to think about doing that this coming year. Like, think about how could you go into the next year and not play just at a level of being like, I'm okay, I'm doing enough, I'm here, but play at a level where it's almost brazen, like just bold. Like this, I'm showing up this year, whether you like it or not. This is going to be all of me on the table. And think just that maybe 5% more. It could equate to like 50 to 100% more of joy and happiness and peace and accomplishment in life. Because there's a lot of opportunities you're not seeing, you'll never see because you're just playing at the level of where you have a certain comfort. You got to play 1 inch out of control, a little bit more brazen and bold, and you'll find that you can get more out of you and accomplish great things. Because you've accomplished things without that. I think you've accomplished great things without that. What happens when you put it in? That's the question I want you to ask yourself. Good morning, Denise Pendexter. Hey. I'm glad you enjoyed Nana B. Kaz. I have a weird level of joy in me that I like to share with you guys. And that's the beautiful part of it. Many mindful moments. I'm going to see if I can bring you on right now because you asked to come on. No chaos. Ken Joslin, 1 inch out of control. When I was in college, my college coach always used to say, he's like, play 1 inch out of control. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Oh,
Hey.
uh, hi.
Hi. How are you? How are you? Where are you at in the world? You look like it's cold outside.
Oh, oh my gosh, I'm in Colorado.
Oh, we're at in Colorado.
I'm in a town called Montrose. I'm
Okay.
here visiting my family. I'm actually stepping into service right now, and I'm
Nice.
crying because you just move my heart so much.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. Seriously, this is why I get up in the morning and do these things. There's
Yeah.
things that I here's most people they think I prepare and plan. I quite literally walk out to my office and hit live, and I just whatever comes out of my face comes out. So I'm glad that it hit your heart. It's seriously it's the reason I do this. I could have easily slept in and no one would have said anything. I was like, no, I'm gonna get up, get up and talk to the world.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
feel that. I'm so thankful for that. Having a good was it a good holiday? You have Thanksgiving? It was good.
Oh my goodness. I am beyond just beside myself with
Good.
gratitude. Yes,
Good. Good.
absolutely.
I'm thankful
Yeah.
I didn't have multiple Thanksgivings because I usually have like 4 or 5 and I gain like 15 pounds. It is, it is, I'm still, I still have that NFL like eating mentality. Not that I eat as much as I used to, but I used to be able to
Hmm.
put away like 6 to 8,000 calories a day, like or a meal.
Wow.
Sorry, in a meal. No, I'm sorry, it was a day. It was like a lot spread out, but we did like I wasn't like what was it? What was his name? The guy that's a swimmer, David Phelps, like 15,000. I could do 6 to 8,000 calories a day, and I just all of it was just in me. And I had to be big. And now, like when you get done, your stomach's that big, but like you don't need to be working because I'm not putting that many calories out. Whole crazy world.
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm glad you enjoyed it today. I like this. I like the idea of people hopping on. I got to get more people to come on and chat. That woman is talking to myself like a weirdo in the world. But I'm
Yeah.
glad you enjoy it. I hope you have a truly blessed weekend ahead. And I do love your comments. I love the thoughtful heart behind what you share. I read all the
Thank
comments,
you.
as you guys know. I personally read all of them and I respond. I don't have some team behind the scenes. It's Anthony. And so I love it. I appreciate it. Keep on doing it.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Very welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. And your words are moving me today. I'm hearing what you're saying. Just like
Good.
stepping it up to the next
Yeah.
level. Yeah,
There's always another
absolutely.
tier. I have a client of mine, she lives in a different country and she had some really interesting things happen and she's achieved some really cool things. But in the work we're doing, she's like, I'm realizing I got a lot of limiting beliefs. And it's not easy for us to pretty much admit that usually, right? Because we got to live in this world of
Hmm.
facade of like, we're great. I have things that I have that I guarantee are like some weird limiting beliefs of what I want to achieve at a real high level, right? Because you have to have that, what you're going towards. But like I address
Hmm.
them, and most people don't address them, so they just fester and they sit, and we're always living with that invisible
Yeah.
chain. And so
Yeah,
for me, it's
yeah.
like, what if you just got that chain off? How fast could you run? Like
Right,
that's the
right,
thing.
right.
If you dumped
Yeah.
it, even for a second, just dump it a little
Hmm.
bit. Oh
Hmm.
man, there's so much more cool things out there. So that's my message today. Thank you so much for joining me real quick, hopping on. I'm gonna have you hop off and then I'm gonna keep reading some comments because I gotta record some things in a minute. I want to make sure I get the rest of the comments read. But I love your comments. Keep them coming. Thank you so much. What's your real name? I don't even know your real name.
It's Michelle
Michelle.
McClatchy. Yes,
Michelle McClatchy.
you've been writing me one-on-one comments in the Shift Starter Facebook group
Ah,
under this other name.
yes.
So I've been getting double whammies of
Yes,
fabulous
this
one-on-one
is.
attention.
Oh, yeah. I gave you a video response of my daughter's
You
swim thing, I
did.
think.
You did. Yeah,
Yes, I
yeah.
do recall this 100%. See, I do. I told you it's me. And I remember
Mhm.
him. My
Mhm.
wife was like, "Stop. We're timing right now. Can you just get over here and time with us?" It's like, "Yeah. But I got to talk to people because this is what I do and I love it." So,
Anthony,
awesome.
I want to say one thing to you. So
Please.
really quick, I just want to point out a thing that I'm realizing that's really important, and that is that I've come to believe and understand that there are angels everywhere, and where they manifest for me are people, right?
Mm,
Is as I'm finding that if I reach out with an authentic and vulnerable heart, that people will respond, and they will gift me with the
mm.
knowledge and the understandings that I need to know. And so that's really what happened to you at that NFL game. That person came right at that perfect moment that you
Right
needed
at the
him,
moment.
and then you were
Yeah,
rewarded with that just sweet, hard to explain photo of your son the next day. And it's just,
yeah.
to me,
It
it's
was
all
really a
just,
weird one.
it's all proof of the magic of this universe,
I agree. I have conversations with people all the time because obviously I talk and I'm open. I'm a man of faith and I share that. And then people are always like, how do you know? How do you know for sure God exists? And for me in my life, that's just one of a few moments. There's moments where like he's shown up in
Hmm.
so many odd, weird ways. Here's another one. Back when I was about 18 years old, played high school football, and I had this thing. My mom, she had MS. She was diagnosed with MS. She was in a wheelchair, and she couldn't actually attend many games. And they took her them a while to put like an on ramp, or like I'm sorry,
Hmm.
wheelchair ramp to the stadium so she could actually watch my games. We played a team called Cal High. My senior year, like my last few games, it was actually second game of the season. I got hurt in the third game, didn't play the rest of the season. So like second game, I'm playing away at Cal High. She can't make it. Her body won't let her get out of bed. She's battling
Mm.
it. And I remember every time I would score a touchdown, I'd point to the sky. It meant for God and for my mom, right? So she knows, like, I'm looking out for you, mom. And she told me to do it. She's like, every time you score, that point's
Yeah.
for mom. I was like, cool. So I go to Cal High to play, second game of the season, and I score 3 touchdowns, and she doesn't see
Mm.
any of them. And I was like, man, it
Mm.
sucks. I scored all these touchdowns, and mom didn't get to see it, you know? And so what happens is, I go home, tell her about it. She's sad she didn't get to see it. And so we go the next morning, Saturday morning for high school football. We always go the next morning, and actually we do like a team breakdown, watch a little bit of film. And as I'm at the morning, my grandma calls, says, hey, Anthony, have you seen the newspaper? I said, no, I haven't seen the newspaper. She goes, you need to grab the newspaper. Doesn't tell me what's on there. So I said, okay, I go grab the newspaper. It's called the East Contra Costa County Times. I got a copy inside my house. The front cover is like an 8x11 picture of me pointing up in the sky. Of all the pictures, Michelle, they could have had, it was me on the cover, all black surrounding, my head's kind of tilted down. I'm gonna go get it. You want to see it? I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
show it to
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
This is the craziest thing. This was my world. My family's still sleeping. We're gonna go and have a little look. I think it's still there. Hold on. I got it. It's quiet. Crazy dogs. Hold on. I think it's over here. It was like an all black album. Is this the one? It may not be in here. It may be a different part of the house. I gotta find it though. Because if not, I know where it's at. I think I know where it's at. I may not know where it's at. Oh, I think it's in here. It was a black scrapbook my grandma made, and I don't
Mm.
know where it went now. It was like,
Mm.
anyways. Well,
It'll
can't
come back to you. It'll come back to you.
wait. Hold on. Back at the studio. Hold on. Nothing. Welcome up.
Ah.
Welcome. All right, hold on. I am back in the
Oh my
studio.
God, you found it!
No, I don't. I don't have it. I thought it was here.
Oh, yeah.
Black. It's like a black picture case. Anyways, it was a weird thing
I
for
love it.
me.
I love that story. So that's a perfect example. And what
Yeah,
I realize, Anthony, is that these moments are happening all the time, but
always.
we miss them. We miss them. We're not paying attention and we don't recognize like, oh my gosh, this
Hmm.
is an angel standing right in front of me.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes the angel is, and this is how it was for my sister yesterday. So bless her heart. It is sometimes challenging for me to spend quality time with her, and
Hmm.
I want to have that relationship, but I realize what she's giving me is the gift of being an angel for her.
Mm.
And so it's about me being able to step into that gifted way of being, and so it's a giving and receiving that's happening all the time,
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time, all the
It's
time.
constant. You give and get. And in order to get, you have to give. Even if it's like love. If I want love from some human or some position, you'd be surprised it doesn't come from like demanding it and forcing it. It comes from giving it. And then the
Hmm.
reciprocation takes place. Sometimes that we're tested
Yeah.
in ways to give to the thing we want the most. I find that if I want a great marriage, I have to give that thing. Like I have to give the marriage the things that I need from the marriage. It's weird. But people never think of it. They say, I want to get this out of it. I got to get this thing. It's like, great, you got to get it. Sometimes if you want to extract from the bank, you have to make a deposit yourself.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
depending how that looks, man, that's always different for a lot of people's lives. And I agree. Sometimes we have to give to get that emotion. It's just the nature of life. So I got a question, a little statement here. Grant's Empire says, I'm really struggling with pursuing my passion when I have no confidence and so concerned with what others think. So this is a common one. And this is the thing that I found when people get to the point of like, I don't have the confidence to pursue. I wish that confidence is something I could yell at somebody's face or plug into their world. Confidence is earned. It's earned past the moments when you have no confidence. Because all it is, I think, is a level of belief in self. So anybody listening right now who says, "Man, I'm struggling with confidence or taking the next step," what I've found is it comes by taking unconfident actions in the face of something that you did not think you could do, and then all of a sudden having a positive outcome, going, "Oh wow, it was in me the entire time." And now you get that confidence. So it's earned in those moments. It's not something that gets just dropped on your face. So Grant's Empire, man, I feel that. Michelle, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Which when we love someone, we'll show in our actions. Yes, G. Linda, that's another part of it. Here's what I've realized is that there's a lot of things in my life I've desired to have, and when I wanted them the most, I could not just sit there and wait for it to come to me. And a lot of it, like emotionally, like I grew up in foster care, was given away, so I didn't really have a lot of those emotions of feeling like I mattered, right? I had to go and give to something that gave me a feeling of that. I had to go and make somebody else matter, and you get to share in the emotion of it all. So here's what here's the best way to look at it too. With my kids, and this may give you a single lesson you can walk away from this day from, and then hopefully it'll be a lesson that maybe lands in a good way. My kids, they have their father in the house. My kids have abundance, man, levels that I never experienced as a kid. Uh, I do not know what their childhood experience is like. I am so very distant from understanding the experience of what it would be like to have my father give me a hug, to have my parents there in the morning, to have my parents together. I didn't have a single of my biological parents in the household growing up. I had foster families, and they weren't good, most of them. Most of them were not good, unfortunately. And so I do not get my kids' experience, man. I don't understand what it's like to be given whatever I really desire and want most, be taken care of, to get rights to sports, have sports paid for. My first year of football, I paid for on my own at 14 with a paper route. Like, we didn't have money, man. We didn't have much. And so my kids never had that struggle. The conversation around college, it's a norm in my household. In my family, I'm the only one to go to college. Like, it's a very weird dynamic. So I do not, I'm trying to anchor this down. I do not understand my children's childhood experience. However, I am very close to the experience on this side. So as distant as I am from their experience, I am incredibly close to them as humans. I get to experience their experience through them, right? I get to give to them that experience, and I get to see it from this side of the glass. So you may not like have the same understanding of like, how do I get this thing I want? It may not be you getting it just to get it like they do. It may be you giving to it to experience it. Is it making sense? Like, you might have to give to the situation to experience that. So I show up as dad, and I'm present. I'm in the house. I take care of them. I get what they need as their needs are met, right? And in doing so, I get to see what it's like to have that. I get to weirdly stop for a moment and breathe it in and say, man, that's what it's like to have that go on in life. So when you want something, when you desire something, whatever it might be, don't expect it always to be something that just comes to you. Sometimes it means you have to invest into that area to get that return. Hope this makes sense for you guys. And this is my last message today. As we progress on to the rest of the weekend, I hope you had an amazing Thanksgiving. I'm looking forward to the Tyson, which is Roy Jones Jr. fight tomorrow. It's a Tyson fight. I'm going to say it's a Tyson fight. He's fighting somebody that's very famous too, but it's a Tyson fight. It just is when Tyson's fighting. But looking forward to that. But here's the thing. I want you to really take inventory of the life you have already. It's probably abundant and amazing in whatever capacity it is right now. But think about this. What could your life be if you lived that life without a limiter at all? Like, if there was nothing slowing you down, nobody slowing you down, you not letting people take you off course, man, what would your life look like a year from now, 6 months from now, let alone a year from now? What would your life look like right now if over the last year you were in fact putting things out, doing work at a tick that was far beyond what your brain thought was possible? Just because your body can do it. You can physically do things, physically say and walk and talk. Your body moves like mine moves, speaks like mine can speak. Your body is just like mine. So what can you accomplish with that? Past whatever your brain is stopping you from doing. Take the limiter off. See what the world has for you as you go out and get it. Take care. God bless. And I'll see you on Monday.